Are you ready to get your health back but feel overwhelmed by the endless healthcare options? We believe God has called each of us to a specific assignment, and we want to make sure your body, mind, and heart are up for the task. It's time to simplify the process of healing. At Cornerstone Integrative Healing, we offer simple, effective, easy ways to prioritize your health and gain understanding. No prescription pad needed. I'm Kari Coody, a pharmacist turned integrative health practitioner. I'm so excited to have these conversations around topics with my friend, Jenn.
Hi there, I'm Jenn, and together with our team at Cornerstone Integrative Healing, we offer an alternative to traditional healthcare, combining our expertise and experience in the medical field with our knowledge and faith to break the cycles of guessing what's wrong. We know the road to healing, feeling good again, can be overwhelming. You can expect honest conversations around the ups and downs of healing. The truth is, there are so many layers to healing. Because we've taken the time to learn where true healing comes from, we've learned how to help other women to discover a different way of caring for themselves. Join us every week for new episodes as we discuss topics that are personal and pertinent to your healing journey. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's Jenn. I'm here with Kari. We're so excited to talk to you about something that we see a lot, unfortunately, especially in the younger teenage, I feel like, age. But I think even us middle-aged people, I say middle-aged, I'm middle-aged. Kari?
Yes,
So
I'm middle-aged.
I won't lump you into that.
No,
Anyway,
I definitely am.
I think this is something that probably all of us do, and that is using, kind of an energy drink or coffee or some sort of caffeinated beverage to keep us going. So today we're talking about the truth about caffeine, and how coffee or energy drink can sometimes leave you more exhausted. So, as I mentioned, I think a lot of us do it. It's tempting to, right, grab something for that quick charge, and drink a little bit of caffeine that gives you that little boost. The problem is, they actually make you feel worse, right? They'll give you that short-term burst and then you'll crash. So we wanted to talk just about a couple of the ways of how energy is kind of borrowed when you're doing caffeine, and what that looks like. So basically, the first one is you are on borrowed energy. Using caffeine is kind of like whipping a dead horse, right? Like, come on, let's get rolling. It's using what's considered adaptive energy. And if you're tired, you really don't have a lot of energy to begin with. And so you're kind of on borrowed energy. So stimulants will force the body to release what's called stored energy or adaptive energy. Primarily from the adrenal glands. And that's why I'm a big proponent too of adaptogens. Like, I take an adaptogen every day. An herbal adaptogen literally is like putting $1 in the savings bank so that when you need that adaptive energy, it's there. So, again, it feels good in the moment to kind of use that adaptive energy, but over time you will deplete that. There's only a finite amount of that adaptive energy. And the more that you rely on caffeine, the more that your natural energy production gets depleted because that adaptive energy is going down. And maybe you've noticed that maybe the coffee doesn't even work anymore. And that's because you've kind of run out of the reserve to kind of pull from. And so coffee just doesn't, or caffeine or stimulant just doesn't work like it did. And so maybe you're noticing you're trying more and now you just feel jittery. So you're tired and jittery and it's just not
This
working.
is not a good combo at all.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Um,
So I want to make a disclaimer. We are not saying that all caffeine is bad. Okay. Like, we just are trying to help you realize how to use it responsibly.
yes.
and
Sure.
and a smart and wisely versus using it just for the one purpose of like energy and getting going in the morning, because that's a sign of a deeper issue. If you need it to function, if you need it to get going, that is a sign that your body is needing some other support, and it's not caffeine. So you don't have a caffeine deficit. Something else is going on. So that's kind of the purpose of this episode, not to say you should never drink coffee, although I don't know that I would ever necessarily recommend you drink an energy drink. That's just, yeah, but I see energy drinks a ton more now. They're everywhere. If you look in if you go in a convenience store, there's just like a whole section or two of energy drinks, where it didn't used to be like that. It used to just be like Monster drinks and that was it. But no, there's all
Right.
kind
Now
of
they have
fancy ones. Yeah.
right. Like I was just going to talk about the Celsiuses,
Yeah,
even
and the
we're talking
Alani.
even about the good energy drinks.
Right. Like, yeah, we're talking about all of them, right? There are some that are, I guess, better than others, but yeah, we're putting them all into this category because that is what they are, even if they look or sound. Maybe they put some great marketing on there. Yeah,
Right.
they tend to
Yeah,
do that.
they do.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk just a little bit about how caffeine might get your system stuck in what we
Yeah.
consider survival or fight or flight?
Yeah. So basically what caffeine does is it intensifies your what we call like action mode or fight or flight hormones, that adrenaline, the cortisol, that basically tell your body it needs to go. Whereas in go mode, this just basically makes it just kind of um, intensifies that. So um, which, again, if you, it's not always a bad thing, but when your body doesn't have what it needs to go, then you're just, like Jenn said, running on borrowed energy. And so it definitely can intensify those hormones. It can make you feel temporarily better, but then it just leaves you crashing later because of the blood sugar effect that it has. And so if you're already dysregulated, then this is just going to kind of keep you in that dysregulated action, like fight or flight state of your nervous system. It's going to keep you there versus allowing you to shift back over into the parasympathetic side or that more rest or calm side. It just prevents you from being able to do that. So it keeps you on edge, basically. And so, especially in the morning, I find, which is, I mean, some people drink caffeine all throughout the day, but a lot of people have a cup of coffee in the morning or several cups, right? Maybe through the morning or midday.
Yeah, and we mean 8-ounce cups. We don't mean 20-ounce cup. That's 3 cups.
Right. So, I mean, yeah, it just like keeps getting more and more and more. And so, it's especially worse in the morning because, especially if you don't eat breakfast, if you're just drinking coffee on an empty stomach and you're not eating within that 30-minute to an hour window of when you wake up, like your body needs energy and that is the energy that it prefers. And so if you're just, using this to get going in the morning, that's even worse. Because you're borrowing, right? You're just taking and you're not giving your body what it needs. And so you're making it make its own energy. And that will really just regulate you over time, keep you stuck in that state, make your blood sugar super erratic. So if you find yourself using these in the morning and then you snack on maybe not great stuff all afternoon, or you find yourself snacking at night, it's probably because you're making that choice in the morning. So I think just making that connection is really key. You don't just need more discipline. A lot of times you need the right fuel, and this isn't the right fuel for your body if you're tired.
Yeah, and I just wanted to point out the signs that you're sensitive to caffeine. So a lot of us will drink caffeine, and when we drink caffeine, of course, it increases cortisol, and so it increases our blood sugar, and so it may increase anxiety. However, if you are in maybe burnout or extreme fatigue, if you're starting to notice the irritability, severe energy crashes, the jitterness. And you just feel like you can't function when you drink it because you do get the severe crash, that probably is a good sign that you are not handling caffeine at all and you are probably in burnout, which I'm very familiar with. Now, Kari and I both use a coffee. It's called King Coffee. also the royal coffee, which is balanced with some reishi spores and other mushrooms in the royal. And for me, that was okay for me, even when my nervous system was super sensitive to caffeine. I tried any side of and I tried any kind of coffee, sorry, and I would have issues. Even really tea, I would drink green tea. I would react to that, but I did not react to this coffee. It really blunted that caffeine and cortisol response. And I still drink it because I just don't want to get that cortisol release. So anyway, keep that in the back of your head that even if you are doing it in moderation, if you're having these extreme sensitivities, it could be a problem.
Yeah, for sure. So what about energy drinks?
Well, again, those are usually packed with sugar, colors, other additives besides just the caffeine.
Yeah.
And those, again, there's extreme cases. And again, although it's becoming more common, where it's actually causing arrhythmias and heart issues in younger people because they, one, are depleting their minerals. When you deplete your minerals, your heart doesn't isn't happy and it doesn't work the way that it's supposed to. So they are seeing, heart issues with younger individuals who, do these energy drinks pretty regularly, which is kind of scary.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, talk to your kids about the detrimental effects that, the energy drinks, although, and talk to them about how they can, like, do they need more energy? Well, there's better ways to do that. They can do an adrenal cocktail. They can use Relight. They can use some other, adrenal cocktail powder. They can eat more protein. I can tell you for a fact, kids do not get enough protein.
Yeah.
Um, so
Or
there are
sleep.
ways, yeah, and their HPA axis, we've talked about the hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis before. Their stress response, their stress response needs support just as much as ours does, maybe even more.
Yeah.
Especially if they're in those tween years and teenage years, there's lots of stressors for them. So just like you would support your system naturally, we can do that with them too. So maybe talk to them. There are different ways that they can support um, their energy besides the energy drinks. The biggest thing too is spiking the blood sugar with
Yeah.
the energy drinks. So the caffeine plus the sugar is really a combo for exhaustion. And that's where you're going to get that short burst, but then the blood sugar crashes. They notice they have anxiety. They're more tired. They're irritable. They might even start over a long period of time, start to get the metabolic changes earlier. So pre-diabetic or even diabetes. They're diagnosing diabetes younger and younger nowadays. It's epidemic,
Right.
and we all know that. So if they're having cravings, dizziness, they have the brain fog, the really extreme fatigue that, sleeping doesn't restore their energy levels, or maybe they're sleeping more and they're still tired.
Mhm.
An energy drink could be part of the equation.
Yeah, definitely. And then kind of the last thing with caffeine in general is that it does disrupt your sleep. Um, Even if it can stay in your system for 12 hours. And really, I think it's more of the effect it has on blood sugar, overall that really disrupts your sleep. But, if you find that you're not sleeping well, you definitely want to think about some of these things that we've said and just make sure that you're like Jenn said, eating enough protein, that you're making sure that you're eating in the morning, especially to help, blunt that stress cycle. Because if you don't, then it's, really it matters so much like in the morning if you get on the right page, right? With really blunting that cortisol effect or either intensifying it if you don't eat and just drink coffee or drink an energy drink. It really is hard a lot of times to get back on track because your body is just stuck in that stress cycle. So if you find yourself having some of these issues, make sure you're eating breakfast, eating a protein rich, savory breakfast within 30 minutes to an hour of waking. And then if you do want to have a cup of coffee, have it with your breakfast or after. Um, and again, we're not demonizing coffee. You just need to use it responsibly. You shouldn't necessarily need multiple cups a day either. That's kind of another thing as well. But as Jenn mentioned, we really do love the coffee that she spoke about. It's called King Coffee. There's a couple of other kinds from the company, but we love that because it's actually regulating to your immune system. It's regulating to your nervous system. It actually helps your body to just be more balanced, whereas traditional caffeine kind of does the opposite. I would still not necessarily recommend drinking it on an empty stomach or anything like that. I still practice what I preach as far as having it with a meal and not on an empty stomach. But it truly is, if you have problems with caffeine but really do love coffee, we recommend that you check that out because it's got a lot of side benefits to it. I almost look at it as a supplement because it really does help with a ton of different things. So hopefully
and I just want
go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
No, I was just going to say, I was going to talk about the half-life for coffee because this is super important.
Yeah.
People are like, oh, well, I can have a cup of coffee at 3:00 and it shouldn't disturb my sleep. So that depends on what time you go to bed. So coffee has a half-life of about 5 hours, which means it takes about 10 hours to get out of your system. Right? So, I mean, if you're going to bed at 10, ideally, you shouldn't have coffee after noon, really. Because that means it's totally out of your system. Because it can, of course, affect melatonin production. Because as cortisol goes up, melatonin goes down. So I just wanted to mention that, like a lot of people think they always, that a lot of us have that mid-afternoon lull.
Mm-hmm.
But it really does affect a sleep. So if your sleep is not, restful as it is, make sure, you remember the half-life when you're having that cup of coffee and what time it is.
True. And, I mean, you could go to just decaf. Decaf still has some caffeine in it. So just that might be a great step, though, is to just, if you love the taste of coffee and you want just a little bit of caffeine, make sure you eat a meal with it. But also drinking decaf can really help.
Yeah, make sure you use a Swiss water decaf because there's lots of chemicals in a decaffeinated.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation, right? We could talk about that for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, just I wanted to share this information with you guys because I just see a lot of people downing energy drinks now, and like Jenn said, especially the teenagers. But it's not only the teenagers. There's a lot of people that consume multiple energy drinks a day, or just you go to Starbucks and you see people with these ginormous coffees. Like then it's loaded with sugar too. Like that is literally a recipe for not good things.
Right.
So just keep some of these things in mind. If you have questions about anything that we mentioned, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. And just the more you know, you can drink caffeine responsibly, right?
Absolutely. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah. See you next time.
If this episode has served you in any way, drop a review wherever you listen to podcasts. We'd love it if you share any aha moments or takeaways on Instagram and tag us at Cornerstone Integrative Healing.
And if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do so. We want to continue to walk this journey with you. Until next time, friends, know that we are praying for you.